Melania Trump is the second First Lady born outside of the United States, and she is the only First Lady to become a naturalized U.S. citizen. Michelle Obama is a lawyer, writer, and the wife of the 44th President, Barack Obama. She was the first African-American First Lady of the U.S. Laura Bush, First Lady from 2001 to 2009, advocating for historic education reform and the well-being of women and families. Hillary Clinton became the first woman to be nominated for president of the U.S. by a major political party when she won the Democratic Party nomination in 2016. Barbara Bush involved herself in projects that piqued her interest. The projects included various charities and Republican women's groups in Washington, D.C. Nancy Reagan was a Broadway actress. She served alongside with President Ronald Reagan and is remembered for her advocacy for decreasing drug and alcohol abuse. Eleanor Carter, wife of 39th President Jimmy Carter. She was an envoy abroad and a leading advocate for numerous causes. Betty Ford, wife of 38th President Gerald Ford, was active in social policy and set a precedent as a politically active presidential spouse. Pat Nixon, wife of the 37th President Richard Nixon, was an avid supporter of charitable causes and volunteerism. Lady Bird Johnson, 36th First Lady, broke new ground by interacting with Congress directly and advocating for beautifying the nation's cities and highways. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, 35th First Lady, was regarded as an international icon of style and culture. Mamie Eisenhower, 34th First Lady, entertained a wide range of foreign dignitaries who reacted well to her confident style and clothing choices. Bess Truman, wife of 33rd President Harry Truman, holds the record of longest-lived First Lady and longest-lived Second Lady. Eleanor Roosevelt, 32nd First Lady, was an American politician, diplomat, and activist who later served as a United Nations spokeswoman. Lou Hoover, 31st First Lady, and Chinese linguist and geology scholar, was also the first to make regular nationwide radio broadcasts. Grace Coolidge, 30th First Lady, was an exceptionally popular White House hostess. She was voted one of America's 12 greatest living women in 1931. Florence Harding, known as the Duchess, served as 29th First Lady from 1921 to 1923 as the wife of President Warren Harding. Edith Wilson, second wife of 28th President, is notable for the influential role she played in President Wilson's administration following the severe stroke in 1919. Ellen Wilson was the first wife of President Woodrow Wilson and First Lady of the United States from 1913 until her death in 1914. Helen Taft, wife of 27th President William Taft. During their marriage, she relished travel to Japan, China, and diplomatic missions around the world. Edith Roosevelt, second wife of Theodore Roosevelt, the first to employ full-time, salaried social secretary, which resulted in the creation of an official staff. Ida McKinley, wife of the 25th President, William McKinley, served as First Lady of the United States from 1897 to 1901. Frances Cleveland became the youngest First Lady at age 21, married to President Grover Cleveland. She was the 24th and 22nd First Lady of the U.S. Carolyn Harrison, 23rd First Lady, and was a music teacher. In 1890, she helped found the National Society of the Daughters of the American Revolution. Mary McElroy was the sister of the 21st U.S. President. As he assumed the role because Arthur's wife, Ellen Arthur, had died. Lucretia Garfield served as First Lady in 1881 until the assassination of her husband, President James Garfield. Lucy Hayes, 19th First Lady, was well known for carrying wounded infantrymen in her husband's command during the Civil War. Julia Grant, 18th First Lady, hailing from a plantation near St. Louis, was the wife of United States war hero Ulysses Grant. Eliza Johnson was the wife of the 17th President, Andrew Johnson. She served as First Lady of the United States from 1865 to 1869. Mary Todd was the wife of the 16th President of the U.S. Abraham Lincoln. She served as First Lady from 1861 until his assassination in 1865 at Ford's Theater. Harriet Lane acted as First Lady of the U.S. for her uncle James Buchanan, who was a lifelong bachelor and the 15th President. Jane Pierce was the wife of the 14th President, Franklin Pierce. She served as First Lady of the U.S. from 1853 to 1857. Abigail Fillmore first met President Millard Fillmore when he was her student, and as a teacher she had been the first First Lady to have held a job after marriage. Margaret Taylor, 12th First Lady, due to ill health, she left. And much of the official hostess duties to her daughter Betty Taylor. Sarah Polk was married to the 11th President of the United States, James Polk. She served as First Lady from 1845 to 1849. Julia Tyler was the second wife of the 10th President, John Tyler. She became First Lady after their secret wedding. Letitia Tyler, first wife of President John Tyler, she was the youngest First Lady to pass away in the White House. Anna Harrison, 9th First Lady, held the title for the shortest length of time. She was the first to be widowed while holding the title. Angelica Buren was the daughter-in-law of 8th President Martin Buren. She assumed the post of First Lady because the president's wife, Hannah Buren, had died. Sarah Jackson was the daughter-in-law of U.S. President Andrew Jackson. Emily Donaldson was the niece of Rachel Donaldson Jackson, wife of U.S. President Andrew Jackson. She served as White House hostess and de facto First Lady of the U.S. Louisa Adams, wife of the 6th President, was the first of America's First Ladies to be born outside of the United States. Elizabeth Monroe, 5th First Lady. Due to the fragile condition of health, many of the duties were assumed by her eldest daughter, Eliza Monroe Hay. Dolly Payne, 4th First Lady. Her iconic style and social presence boosted her husband's popularity as president. Martha Jefferson, 3rd First Lady, dying of ill health during the Revolutionary War, she did not live to see her husband become president. Abigail Adams, 2nd First Lady, is remembered for the many letters of advice she exchanged with her husband during the Continental Congresses. Martha Washington is considered to be the first First Lady, but the title was not coined until after her death. Thank you for watching our videos. We'll upload our hands-on videos as soon as we can, so make sure you've subscribed to be notified. Let us know in the comments.